What if the one thing truly holding you back isn't your talent, your network, or even how hard you hustle, but a simple, profound shift in how you expect things to unfold? It's closer than you think. So many people hear this and think easier said than done, completely missing the actual how. Skip to the end and you'll miss the subtle daily practices that embed this not just in your mind, but in your entire way of being, letting life-changing opportunities slip by. Core belief? All right, let's dive right into something that feels almost like a superpower, yet it's deeply rooted in how our minds and bodies actually work. We're talking about cultivating the profound internal stance of acting as if everything always works out for you. I can already hear some of you thinking, oh, is this that positive vibes only thing where I just ignore reality? And I want to say, with all the warmth and scientific backing I can muster, absolutely not. This isn't about denial, and it's certainly not about expecting life to be a constant parade of effortless wins without any effort on our part. Instead, it's about a deliberate, conscious recalibration of your innermost operating system, shifting your default expectation from anticipating failure or struggle to anticipating resolution, growth, and yes, often success. Think about the sheer amount of mental real estate that worry and anxiety occupy, the what ifs, the pre-mortems we do on projects before they even begin, the catastrophizing about potential conversations. It's exhausting, isn't it? This mental churn isn't just unpleasant, it actively depletes our cognitive resources, making us less creative, less decisive, and more prone to seeing threats where there might actually be opportunities. When you genuinely, deep down, start to operate from a place of trust in your own capabilities, trust in your resilience, trust that even detours can lead to beautiful destinations, something remarkable happens. Your mental landscape clears. You're not Pollyanna-ish, you're strategically optimistic. You acknowledge challenges, yes, but your energy immediately pivots to, how can I navigate this? What resources do I have? What's the next indicated step? This isn't about suddenly believing you're immune to difficulty. It's about cultivating an unshakable inner knowing that whatever comes your way, you possess the capacity to meet it. Even more, it's about opening yourself to the possibility that sometimes the things that seem like setbacks are actually course corrections, guiding you towards something even better or more aligned. Our brains are incredibly powerful, and they tend to find what they're looking for. There's a part of our brain called the reticular activating system, or RAS, which acts like a filter for information. If you're constantly focused on what could go wrong, guess what your RAS highlights for you? All the evidence to support that. But if you prime your RAS by focusing on possibilities, solutions, and favorable outcomes, you'll start to notice more of those too. It's not magic, it's selective attention. Consider how this plays out in even small daily interactions. Let's say you're about to make a slightly uncomfortable phone call. If your core belief is one of apprehension, you might procrastinate, your voice might sound hesitant, and you might inadvertently steer the conversation towards a less favorable outcome. But if you approach it with the underlying assumption of, this will go fine, I can handle whatever comes up, and we'll reach a good understanding, your entire demeanor changes. Your tone is more confident, your words are clearer, and you project an ease that often elicits a more positive response. It's about subtly shifting the odds in your favor, not by controlling the external world, but by mastering your internal one. How do you begin to nurture this if it feels utterly foreign? It often starts with small, deliberate acts of trust. Maybe it's trusting that you'll find a parking spot when you need one, and truly expecting it rather than just vaguely hoping. Or perhaps it's assuming a new colleague will be friendly and helpful. These little experiments in expecting good, when they pan out, start to build a new neural pathway. They provide experiential evidence that challenges old, more pessimistic thought patterns. It's also about consciously catching yourself in moments of negative forecasting and gently redirecting your thoughts. Okay, that's one possibility. What's another more positive possibility? And what can I do to nudge things in that direction? This isn't about toxic positivity. It's about expanding your range of perceived outcomes to include and even prioritize the favorable ones. Over time, this conscious practice starts to reshape your default, making "it will probably work out" feel less like a hopeful affirmation and more like a simple observation of how things tend to go for you. This fundamental belief doesn't just make you feel better, it actually changes how you perceive and interact with the world, drawing different experiences and responses towards you. Outward signal. Now, once we start to really marinate in this internal belief system, this quiet confidence that things will ultimately resolve in a way that serves us, how does that actually show up on the outside? Because what's happening within us is rarely a secret. It broadcasts itself through 1,000 tiny cues that people pick up on, often without even realizing it. This is where the acting as if becomes a dynamic, embodied practice. It's not just a thought, it's a way of moving, speaking, and engaging with the world. Your physical presence shifts. Someone constantly braced for impact, expecting negativity, tends to physically contract. Shoulders might hunch, they might make themselves smaller, avoid direct eye contact, or speak in a more subdued, hesitant tone. They're unconsciously signaling, "I'm not sure," or "I'm anticipating a problem." But when you truly embody the belief that things tend to work out for you, there's a natural expansiveness. Your posture might become more upright, not in an arrogant way, but in a way that signals you're comfortable in your own skin and ready to engage. Your eye contact becomes more open and direct, conveying trustworthiness and interest. Your smile might come more easily because your baseline emotional state isn't tinged with as much preemptive worry. Your voice often gains a certain warmth, a relaxed cadence that makes people feel at ease around you. These are not superficial tricks. They are authentic expressions of an internal state of optimistic preparedness. Think of it as your nonverbal resume. It's constantly telling people who you are and what you expect from the interaction, long before you utter a significant word. Interestingly, this goes beyond just conscious perception. Our nervous systems are wired to resonate with each other. When you approach a situation with calm confidence, believing in a positive outcome, you project an energy that others can literally feel. It can de-escalate tension, build rapport more quickly, and make collaborative efforts smoother. People are naturally drawn to those who exude this quiet sense of assurance. Not a brash, "I know everything," but a steady, "we'll figure this out" vibe. This kind of presence is incredibly influential. In meetings, you might find yourself proposing solutions more readily or framing challenges in a way that invites collective problem solving rather than collective hand-wringing. Your language shifts from problem-saturated, "this is impossible," "we're going to fail," to solution-focused, "what if we tried this? How can we make X happen? What are our options here?" Consider the impact in a leadership context, or even within your family or social circle. When you're the one who consistently meets challenges with a sense of, "okay, this is unexpected, but we'll find a way," you become a source of stability and hope for others. Your belief becomes contagious in the best possible way. This doesn't mean you need to be an over-the-top cheerleader if that's not your personality. Authenticity is key. It's about a genuine, grounded optimism that shows up in how you hold yourself, how you listen, and how you speak. Even the micro expressions on your face, those fleeting, often unconscious facial movements, tend to align with this inner state, conveying openness rather than anxiety. These subtle cues build trust and make you more approachable, leading to better connections and more cooperative interactions. What's fascinating is the biofeedback loop here. When you consciously choose to act as if you expect things to go well, perhaps by deliberately adopting a more open posture or making an effort to smile warmly, you can actually influence your internal state. Amy Cuddy's research on power poses touched on this. Adopting expansive postures can, in some contexts, lead to hormonal shifts that support feelings of confidence. So you're not faking it. You're actively priming your own system to align with the belief you're cultivating. The outward signals you project then influence how others respond to you, and their positive responses further reinforce your belief that, yes, things do tend to work out. It's an upward spiral powered by authentic self-belief that you consciously nurture and express, changing not just your internal landscape, but the dance of interaction you have with everyone you meet. Resilient mind. This is such an important distinction. Embracing the mindset that everything always works out for you is absolutely not about becoming immune to life's inevitable curveballs or pretending that disappointment doesn't exist. Let's be very clear. Challenges will come, plans will go awry, and there will be moments of genuine difficulty. That's a non-negotiable part of the rich, messy, beautiful human experience. The true magic of this particular belief system isn't in preventing storms, but in radically transforming how you navigate them. It's about building a deeply resilient mind, an inner architecture that can absorb a shock, acknowledge the sting, and yet still return to a place of resourcefulness and forward momentum. When a setback hits, for someone operating from a scarcity or pessimistic framework, it can feel like a devastating confirmation. See, I knew it wouldn't work. Bad things always happen to me. This can lead to a sense of helplessness, a tendency to give up, or a descent into bitterness. But if your foundational belief is that ultimately there's a path through, a lesson to be gained, or a new, perhaps unexpected good that will emerge, your internal script flips. The dialogue changes from, "This is a catastrophe, it's over," to something far more constructive, like, "Wow, okay, this is not what I anticipated, and this feels really tough right now." So, what's the learning here? Is there an opportunity hidden in this that I can't see yet? How do I need to adapt or pivot to keep moving forward? Notice the shift from a full stop to a question mark, from victimhood to agency. This isn't about ignoring pain or glossing over genuine loss. It's about not letting that pain define the entirety of your future or your capabilities. You give yourself space to feel it, and then you begin to search for the wisest next step. This is intimately connected to what Dr. Carol Dweck calls a growth mindset, the understanding that our talents and abilities can be developed through effort, good strategies, and input from others. When you inherently believe that things can work out, you're far more likely to view failures or setbacks not as indictments of your worth, but as crucial data points. Okay, that approach didn't yield the result I wanted. What can I tweak? What did I learn from that experience that I can apply next time? Failure loses its terrifying sting when it's reframed as feedback. It becomes a teacher, sometimes a harsh one, but a teacher nonetheless. This perspective cultivates an almost anti-fragile quality, where you don't just bounce back from stressors, you actually get stronger, more adaptable, and more creative because of them. You learn to dance with uncertainty rather than being paralyzed by it. A critical skill here is learning to manage your emotional state without suppressing it. It's about allowing feelings of frustration, sadness, or disappointment to be present without letting them hijack your entire system. This might involve mindfulness practices, taking a moment to breathe, or talking things through with a trusted friend, not to dwell on the negative, but to process it and then consciously redirect your focus. What do you still have control over? What resources are available to you, internal or external? What's one tiny action you can take to reclaim a sense of agency? This is where self-compassion also plays a huge role. When things don't go your way, despite your best efforts and positive expectations, it's vital to treat yourself with kindness rather than self-criticism. "This is hard, and it's okay that I'm struggling with this" can be a powerful antidote to the shame or blame that often accompanies setbacks. Furthermore, this resilient mindset understands the element of time. Working out doesn't always mean working out right now, exactly as I planned. Sometimes the working out part is a longer game, a more complex tapestry than we can see from our current vantage point. Patience becomes a valuable ally. It requires a trust that even if the immediate outcome isn't what you hoped for, the larger narrative of your life is still unfolding in a way that can lead to growth and eventual good. You actively look for the lessons, adjust your sails, and keep navigating, firm in the belief that while you can't control the wind, you can always adjust your sails. This steady, flexible persistence, born from a deep-seated trust in ultimate resolution and your own capacity, is the bedrock of a truly thriving existence, transforming not just what you achieve, but who you become in the process. This path, this choice to act as if everything always works out for you, isn't about ignoring the realities of the world or pretending problems don't exist. It's about cultivating an unshakable inner conviction in your own resilience, in your capacity to learn and adapt, and in life's tendency to offer new doorways when old ones close. It's a quiet strength, a gentle yet formidable optimism that doesn't just help you navigate life's challenges, but empowers you to create a life of profound meaning and deep, lasting fulfillment. Be honest, did any part of this message make you pause and reflect on your own default expectations? I genuinely love to hear your thoughts.